So what if I told you one Warlock exotic can give nearly infinite rifts, doubles the duration of arc buddies, nearly infinite damage buffs, makes your fire team nearly impossible to kill, and can stack with other powerful Warlock exotics? Sounds like I snuck past Battle Ire that I'm clickbaiting, huh? Well, I'm disappointed, Guardians. In myself.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
I've been sleeping on what is one of the most underrated Warlock exotics for both PvE and PvP. This exotic has so much utility that it honestly feels like it should be able to make you a sandwich. I'll drag these exotic boots out, and I found some borderline game-breaking things in PvP, and so many ways to keep your fire team alive through insane endgame PvE activities. So in this video, I'm going to show you why Boots of the Assembler is the most underrated Warlock exotic in Destiny 2 that you haven't even used yet. So Boots of the Assembler, aka, oh, these are pretty cool. First debuted in Season of the Splicer. They can be acquired by completing a Legend or Master Lost sector when the reward that day is leg armor. I'll have a link to a great tool to help you know when it is leg day down in the description. The Boots exotic perk, Blessing of Order, states standing in a healing rift. By the way, this can be your rift or any other teammates. Creates noble seekers that seek out allies that are not in a rift and heals them. Standing in an empowering rift creates noble seekers that grant both you and your ally a damage bonus. Each time a noble seeker finds one of your allies, the duration of your rift is briefly extended while you are standing in it. All right, let's get into the numbers.
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
Kiss my ass!
But we're gonna keep it simple. Starting with the healing rift, each seeker heals an ally for 75 HP and begins health regen instantly. When an empowering rift is equipped, the seekers grant each ally a 5-second 20% damage buff in PvP. That's around Rampage ×2, and a 35% damage buff in PvE, which is on par with Weapons of Light, aka Bubble Titan. Now, each time a noble seeker hits a teammate, it extends the rift by 5 seconds. As you can see, it fully stops the rift timer and adds a second extended rift 5-second timer. A few things to note: your allies have to be outside of the rift for the seekers to go to them, and seekers spawn roughly every 5 seconds. So if you and your teammate can time it right, you can bounce in and out of the rift to get the extension and hit some crazy rift duration, but I can make it better, so stay tuned. Now that we have a basic understanding of how this exotic works, let me go through the Infinity Stones that you need to make it as broken as it is. Starting with PvP, seeing as though this is a rift-based exotic, I'm going to share a fantastic video on how to place your rift to get the most utility out of it, made by my buddy Apathetic. A link to that will be in the right corner, as well as down in the description. Now, I found that putting your rift in a spot where you both have cover and are near the bulk of your teammates, such as near a capture point, gave me the best return on extending my rift. I found I was able to stay alive for a lot longer, as well as provide healing to the bulk of my team, keeping them in their fights longer as well. Now, side note, I'm going to start playing a clip and let it play out in full just to show you how long I was able to extend a rift. Now, I also found that enemies had a harder time killing me, given that my health regen started immediately and I had an overshield while standing in the rift. So find areas around the map that you can peek angles but are close enough to teammates to maximize this exotic's effectiveness. Now, let's get into where this exotic gets absolutely broken and how to build around it. My favorite build while testing was the #blessed build, Lumina and Boots of the Assembler. That said, you say the word Lumina and most PvPers go D-tier exotic at best. You're wrong. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. With this pairing, you can effectively have 100% uptime for Rampage ×2 for your entire fire team across all of their weapons for an entire round of trials if timed correctly, and in 6v6 you can extend your rift to insane durations. Given that, and I don't know if this is bugged by the way, when you hit an ally with a noble round, it extends the rift duration for 10 seconds. By the way, is that clip still going? See what I'm talking about? You probably forgot I still had that playing. Anyway, this pairing is broken due to another function, which again may be bugged or part of the relationship between these two exotics. It seems that whenever an ally is hit with a noble seeker, a noble round shortly thereafter spawns into Lumina. From there, shooting those noble rounds at your teammates will give you both Blessing of the Sky, #blessed, giving you and the teammate a 20% damage buff on all weapons for 10 seconds. And again, don't know if this is bugged, but extends the rift by 10 seconds as well. Moving to the I'm the Guy giving everyone roids and calling it a new kind of protein build. Switching to an empowering rift with any primary will give you and anyone hit by a seeker a 20% damage buff, but the duration on that damage buff is only 5 seconds, and you're not as mobile as you are with the hashtag blessed build. This 20% buff enables, and get ready for this, Thorn with perk, Ace with Mori and 120s to 2-tap, Ariana's and La Monarch to 1-shot, and Arbalest and Lorenzo to 1-shot body. I'm sorry in advance. For trials are competitive with the hashtag blessed build, we have the camp to win strat where you fight out of your rift, getting noble rounds loaded about every 5 seconds or so, as long as your teammates are nearby, and getting hit by noble seekers. Or you can use the juice up and yeet strat where you pop the rift at a neutral location before pushing into the fight to have the noble rounds ready to give your teammates, and you hashtag bless up for that 20% buff in damage for the entire engagement. Use whatever fits your playstyle. For 6v6 or control, I would recommend popping your rift, like I said earlier, in high traffic areas that allow you to fight out of your rift, providing healing to the entire team, maximizing the amount of noble rounds you are getting, which then snowballs into having your rift up for quite literally a minute and a half. So what subclass are you running with this thing? Honestly, any, but I have my favorites. Many of you will immediately say Middle Tree Solar. Guys, we don't have to just be a healer. Anyone who's played Overwatch knows Moira is barely a healer anyway, and why can't you be the top fragging support player? That said, Middle Tree Solar, Attunement of Grace, aka you drew the short end of the stick in the raid again, or you were the only warlock with 5 headbutt yeet lords, is a decent option for PvP and an even better option for PvE while using Boots of the Assembler. Why? Benevolent Dawn, which grants faster ability regen for 6 seconds to all abilities, procs every time an ally is hit with a Noble Seeker. A lot of fun, but we can do better. Stasis, really good for trials in my opinion.
Who are you?
Thanks, Captain Obvious. I'm you from the future, here to warn you about...
Zone C captured.
Locking down lanes with a Bleak Watcher grenade or Glacier nades paired really well for establishing map control. But again, we can do better. Finally, to Arc. I found myself literally saying, there's no way it does that several times during testing. Guys, you know that new thing that like most warlocks are running this season that annoys the living shit out of you until eventually... Yeah, the one where you instantly put on Risk Runner because you're tired of dying to, I don't know, let's call him Pod. Arc Buddies. I hate to do this, but I'm about to make Arc Buddies a lot worse. While using Boots of the Assembler, you can double Arc Buddies duration. Now, 30 seconds was the longest I was able to get it to stay up. Giggity. It seemed that after a certain amount of time being stopped, the timer just resumed its countdown. So props, Bungie. It's broken, but not Shatter Dive.
Zone C captured.
So the big question, does it stack with Stag? Kinda, not in the way that I had hoped. I had hoped that we would have a minute and a half of 15% damage resist. Well, sadly, we don't. What you can do is pause the resist countdown timer by timing entering the rift and exiting so that seekers hit you, extending the rift duration. But this does require you to bounce in and out, not really ideal with Stag. This makes me sad on one hand, but again, props Bungie for not allowing warlocks to quite literally become infinitely invincible campers. Now that PvP is out of the way, let's get into why these boots are going to be a go-to for high-level PvE activities going forward. This week, while I was filming this video, the featured Nightfall of the week was the Hallowed Lair Grandmaster, and to be honest, this was a pretty tough Nightfall. Mini Screebs that push you harder than a shoulder charge Titan who somehow can't switch off their shotgun, Void Grenades that hit like a train, and champions looking to fry you from everywhere. After a few runs, survivability was a bit of an issue. I threw on Boots of the Assembler as a test, and my fire team instantly noticed a difference. They were staying alive much longer and were able to stay in engagements for a lot longer due to substantial healing being available every 5 seconds. Have your rift in a safe but central location to where your fire team is. The range of the Seekers is supposed to be around 35 meters, but I saw some insane range during testing, so let that play into where you decide to set up for ad clear or DPS. Now, building out your Guardians should be fairly obvious. It's going to be heavily rift focused, but before you go for the equivalent to 200 recovery, hear me out. I found that if you played close enough to your fire team, your rift would stay up for so long that you would have your rift regen done by the time all the extensions ran out. That said, if you want to build into your rift, 100 recovery, as always, should be priority number 1. From there, if you want to build into getting your class ability back faster, some great mods include bolstering detonation, absolution, installation, orbs of restoration, perpetuation, utility kickstart, well of restoration, and finally well of utility. All of that said, I still built for other things such as general ability cooldowns and survivability for this GM, given how fast my rift would come back and how long we could keep rifts up. That said, if you can't hit 100 recovery or want to spec for something else, those mods should help the rift come back a little bit faster. Now, let's say you're happy with your rift cooldown, but want to use it as a way to charge your other abilities. Don't worry, I got you, fam. Dynamo, Bomber, Distribution, Outreach, and Reaping Wellmaker used with other elemental well mods to grant ability energy are all great mods to slot to use your rift to charge your grenade, melee, and super. For subclasses, Stasis with Bleak Watcher was fantastic, and well will keep you and your fire team alive through damn near anything. So that is Boots of the Assembler and why you should be getting them out of your vault or getting them from the next leg day Lost Sector immediately. I see next to no one running these, and my teammates were laughing at how much damage they were doing in PvP with these things and thanking me for keeping them alive in GMs. Let me know if I missed any builder pairing with these in the comments down below. If you are going to try these out, smash the like button so YouTube can push this to more Guardians. Hit that subscribe button and trigger the bell for live streams and future videos, including a comprehensive New Light series. Join my Discord to discuss builds, meme out, and connect with other gamers and Guardians. And until next time, I have been Teagues. You have been beautiful. Peace.